Welcome back to the Old City, Leviathan. Before I begin the episode proper, I want to mention something that I discovered when I was editing the video for the last episode. I was editing the video and I was just looking through some of the text, and I realized something in the text for the last note that I read, the last Solomon's note. I realized something that I completely missed, and when I noticed it, I went, "Oh my god, you brilliant bastard." Well, maybe not brilliant, but just like, you clever bastard, like you just slipped that in right in front of my eyes, and I missed it until now. And this is what I missed. And first, a little bit of preamble context. So after reading this last note, I was thinking that Jonah and Solomon are perhaps the same person. Well, I guess it wasn't just after this note, but just kind of leading up to this note, and especially after this note, I was thinking that they might be the same person. And, well, just look at this. Alright, so this is about 75% through note number 4, which is the last one that we read. It's right here. So this is when Solomon is talking to Jonah, supposedly. "I know Leviathan isn't real because no one else has ever seen or heard of this entity, an entity whose belly we are supposedly inside of, and to be inside of said entity is physically impossible. That's simply not how the universe works. And most importantly, you're absolutely out of your mind. So your word on the matter is irrelevant." Let's just let that sink in. You're absolutely out of your mind. This is Solomon to Jonah. Solomon is telling Jonah, you're absolutely out of your mind, so your word on the matter is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Whose name is irrelevant? Back to note number 1, the very first thing. My name is irrelevant. I think it even ends with that. Doesn't it? Oh no, it doesn't quite end with that. There's an ending somewhere. Well, anyway. Yes, my name is irrelevant. This is Solomon saying his name is irrelevant. Both kind of figuratively and almost literally, it seems like. And then here. Your word on the matter is irrelevant. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear what's going on there. That was just so damn clever that when I realized it, I thought, it's so easy to slip that in. I never even paid it a second thought the first time I read it through. I just took it at face value, but afterwards I realized how blatantly obvious it seems. Just made me think, you clever bastard. Anyway, let's continue. The waters of Sheol. I think the sign is saying don't swim in the water. Rail cars have just sunken into the water. Old and rusting and discarded. Oh, hello there. It's you again. I want to know what the thing is supposed to be. I mean, is it just a normal insect or creature of some sort that has simply been scaled up and is unnaturally large, or is it something completely different? My first thought was a cockroach, but I don't think it really looks anything like a cockroach. I mean, could that be the Leviathan? Could that be the Leviathan? Now that I think about it, the Leviathan is supposed to be some sort of a sea monster, correct? It is in the water, although... I mean, I'm trying to, rack my brain for any sort of artistic reference, not references, any like any visualizations of a Leviathan that I've seen, but I don't think I've seen any. I don't know what to visualize it as. So I suppose maybe a gigantic insect kind of creature could be the Leviathan? I don't know. Oh, look at that. There's even bugs around the lights. So much garbage.
Do you still believe in a world out there in the blue?
Just thinking, who is you? Do you still believe? Who's he talking to? Is he talking to Solomon in his own mind? Is he talking to Leviathan?
Books on top of books on top of books. Voices creeping in from the vasts of a larger and more ancient world, now trapped in the claustrophobia of narrow minds and cold halls.
The more I listen to Jonah speak, the more he actually does sound like he's saying the things that Solomon would say. More gun shells. Alright, so I've got two pathways. Okay, so the exit, yeah. Exit is obviously where I'm supposed to go, so let's go everywhere else first. As always.
The old world was worthy of the waters that still flow from the inland. These green pipes that provide us with the basic sustenance we need for a pointless existence are nothing but charitable structures for an already stagnant populace. In this sense, our ideas never change because we rejected the source for its fruits.
It's telling me to go this way, but there's nothing but a wall there. I wonder if I'm imagining the wall, and perhaps if I can break through the delusions again, I'll see what's actually there. Which would be a strange twist, because normally, when I break through the delusions, that actually makes a pathway disappear, not makes one appear. Yeah, there's been fighting, even in here. More gun shells. Looks like they shot at somebody in the bed, maybe? Although if they shot at somebody in the bed, then I'd say they missed because they shot above the bed. Page 246. When we discovered this cache of voices, the larger goal was already clear. We aim to unveil truth in all of its objective and simple nature. Voices are nothing but relics of ancient discovery, and as obsolete as the old findings are, they may still act as ladders to a more complete picture of understanding. Fact, you see. Fact is unchanging and ultimately understandable. It is only in fact that our allegiance should reside. I hope you would permit me to say, my dear fellows, that fact does not respect our personal bonds. So even in community, we should exhibit no final loyalty. What is more, any respect for those who choose to ignore fact is indefensible. Namely, the guild and their rather simple band of acolytes, shall we say, are not to be tolerated. Yes, the unknowing are also similarly detestable. While the guild distorts truth, the unknowing reject it outright. An obtuse concept, surely. After all, are we to consider their position untrue by nature of their claim? No. Truth is a simple thing, beautiful in all of its grandeur and connected nature. The whole of the thing, the object, is singular. It is only under the lens that truth becomes more complex. These simpletons would have you reject the connection of our findings. They would have you ignore the simple and singular nature of a grander cosmos in favor of some other singular fantasy, as if fact is a slave to some other imaginary and entirely unfounded voice. Moreover, it should be noted that tradition, in respect to voices, functions to obscure fact itself. Like a great cloud, a blight, tradition draws lesser minds away from fact towards ignorance. This evil cannot be tolerated, and its followers, guild or unknowing, should be assaulted with every measure of cruelty that they so mindlessly show to us. Do what you must. Defile, burn, torture, and eradicate. Fact must prevail for the good of all. We must annihilate this illusion of the dream. Dreams are for those who cannot understand. Fact, my dear fellows, fact is what will guide us to a brighter tomorrow, a more comfortable future. Listen to these voices for the distant impressions that fact has left on times long past. Beyond this, they are worthless. Beyond their minimal connection to the larger, singular cosmos, they are chaff. Tradition is nothing but the inhibition of revelation, the blocking force between us and understanding. The source should be worthless beyond what it has already provided. To regress to this source would be a devolution. Order, overseer, and principle. Yep, warring between factions. The eternal wars. It's always something to fight over. You believe too much, you believe too little, etc., etc. You believe the wrong things. To overseer, principal of the Northwest Quadrant. If you see a dweller named Bell, Restrain her immediately. We are certain that she has defected to the guild cause, and she should not be allowed to harm your garrison with any form of espionage. Intelligence has confirmed that her defection is indeed a fact. She may try to persuade you that she is simply escaping guild captivity, but this is not the case. Use whatever means necessary to extract guild information from her. Order Intelligence. To Overseer and Principal of the Northwestern Quad. Notice has been received that Belle is being protected by the guild. The information she has about our encampment may compromise the area. As a precaution, send units 8, 4, 7, and 15 down the tunnels to the docks. We'll be sending explosives to block off your subway access point. This will leave you and your family alone with a single unit of infantry. It is imperative that you stay and maintain this area. Even in personal bonds, we must exhibit no final loyalty. Of course, while I'm sure this precautionary measure will prove ultimately unnecessary, we will have to block our communication for several months. If anything does happen, it was a pleasure serving with you. One day, our certainty will win out over the evil of the guild, and truth will be apparent to all. Oh God. This is some serious stuff that's happening, and it's all revolving around Belle. The information she has about our encampments may compromise the area, and because of that, they're sending explosives. Well, I guess they probably already sent explosives to block off the subway access point. Now here's what I want to know, though. Is this something that happened a very long time ago, or just recently? Because I suspect this actually happened fairly recently. It says, we will have to block our communication for several months. I'm assuming they have not been back, so the several months has not passed, is what I'm assuming. And it also mentioned, where does it say? This will leave you and your family alone with a single unit of infantry. A single unit of infantry. Do you think this unit of infantry was perhaps the people I just saw just a little while ago? All the soldiers that had died out by the sandbags right outside the water treatment facility? Because again, their bodies seemed relatively fresh. I mean, they were definitely starting to decay, but they weren't skeletons. It certainly hadn't been years. At most, it'd been a couple months. Although I'm definitely no expert on how fast human bodies decay, thankfully. But, yeah, that might be the single unit of infantry that they're talking about. But have I seen anything that's been blown up? Any subway access point? I can't think of any, but I guess I probably haven't gotten there yet, right? I guess we'll find out. So I wonder, is Belle actually protected by the guild? Is she actually a spy? Or are they just mistaken? So the Order is going after her. And they think she's protected by the guild, which would imply that she's working for the guild. Ooh, another note. Well, there's no razor blade on this bed, thankfully. I'll read the note a little bit later. going deep into the belly of the beast. Again, more work lights with power. Although assuming I'm just hallucinating this, that could be the reason everything's powered. Just a dream. Yep, I thought it'd be something like this. What horrors await me here? Whoa. It's beautiful.
I have to believe that my dreams have some worth, lest I loose the same anchor into show. I have to believe that creation itself can bring life to cyclical demise.
Tarshish is manifesting piece by piece. All you can do now is hope that the Eschaton sees its fruits. And now we get to see what's actually here. I already saw an arm hanging out of that rail car over there. We'll go there in a second. The music is now disquieting rather than peaceful. What the fuck? Why is there just an arm on the beach? There isn't a body even attached to that arm either. Is this part of the orders, well, orders? To kill others? Kill the evil people in the guild and the unknowing at any cost? Torture them? Maim them? Oh, Jesus. That's a kid. I think. Were they shot? It's just like a pile of gore. There's still nothing in this direction, even though the arrow points down here. Shot in his sleep, I think. So given that this is here, so this is about the Order. The people that lived here, or the person who lived here, and their family. I guess that was the whole family, right? This will leave you and your family alone. It's the family that died. So if it was Order operatives or agents or whatever living here, then that means somebody other than the Order killed them. Who did it? Does it even matter? Everybody wanted to kill everybody else. Could have been the Guild, could have been the Unknowing, who knows? So there's a guy in there. Maybe that was the husband? There's the wife, one of their kids. Maybe that was the husband? I don't know. Jesus. Alright, well, let's leave the area so I don't have to look at that while I read Solomon's note. Let's stare, yeah. Let's look here. Okay. Let's see. I'm curious. How long is this note compared to the others? Oh, wow, it's actually freaking tiny. Yeah, that's like one-fourth, one-sixth the length of the others. Okay. A New Home. Note 8. 5th of February. Well, reader, I am here. I have arrived at my next humble abode. There's an abandoned warehouse just near the water treatment facility in the northwest that houses a bizarrely labyrinthine interior and a warm lamp for shelter. I imagine this isn't the most fanciful of places, but it will do nicely for someone just on the edge of suicide. With this in mind, I should say that I won't be here for long. And if you are finding this note somehow, you'll most likely be free to take the place. It isn't the most astoundingly beautiful of homes, but it could be quite a bit worse. As you enter, you have the choice between going down and straight ahead. If you're feeling adventurous, go down and explore all of the wonderful nothingness that awaits you there in the basement. If you go through the door in front of you, however, you will find my bed and the rest of my things. I must say, finding a place with a bed instead of a dirty mattress was fantastic, even if the bed looks like a bed for children. I'm certainly not picky when it comes to comfort. I will say that there is a rather large hole in the ceiling about 20 feet or so from the bed. Usually it's fine, but I imagine it'll become a problem with rain, snow, or cold in general. Still, the warmth of the lamp is almost unnatural, and the embrace of the blankets is always seductive. It's a quiet place, except for the occasional passerby. A minotaur named Moses came through the area and said something about dwellers being idiots and then proceeded on his way. It wasn't exactly as interesting as my encounter with Jonah, but at least he seemed somewhat sane. Apparently, he was trying to convince the Order encampment up north to travel inland to the old city. They completely dismissed him, of course, as he evidently wasn't aware that his title is defunct. I never understood the obsession. I've seen nothing to warrant an expedition into the inland, and I don't find the arguments of either the dwellers or the other minotaurs to be particularly convincing. All of this trouble is caused by the sourcing of our clean water, and to extend from that, anything related to some hidden knowledge is ridiculous. The water is clean by necessity. Even my companion will tell you this. The companion you have is from an older time, so it won't include this information, but I will relay an excerpt from this newer version here. Green pipes. Installed in date removed by later editor, though I'm honestly not sure who. They provide clean water to the exterior of the old city. Natural water in and around, removed. Island historically had problems with deposits of removed, making it extremely dangerous to consume, see unclean water or void. Notable documented effects of the unclean water include hallucination, severe migraines, and thoughts of suicide. The extreme mental effects of the unclean water make filtration and treatment a necessity. While numerous treatment facilities exist around the outer ring of the island, all filtered water feeds back into the inland before being filtered again and fed to the exterior, effectively making the old city the source of the clean water. The entire process is automated with an estimated lifespan of around years. Wait a minute, didn't I already read this? I did read this, look at this. After the global incident in Removed, the Council, see the Council of Modernity, split the flow from the interior into 3 groups. I already read this. Yeah, that was on just a general note in the environment in the last level, right? The companion you have is from an older time, so I won't include this information, but I will relay an excerpt from this newer version here. So that note that I found was an excerpt from Solomon, which I believe is me. Solomon is Jonah is me, I think. I'm just trying to think if that means anything special. I guess I just found something that he left behind. The assumption is that the source is somehow a wellspring of things unrelated to the water itself. Did no one ever consider what our clean water actually is? In our context, clean water is water with an absence of something. It lacks that which makes the water unclean. How did so many minotaurs latch onto this ludicrous story of enlightenment? The dwellers have a similarly derisory understanding of the inland. According to their notably recent narratives, the inland houses a series of dangers so great that anyone venturing in can never escape. Of course, everyone who has entered has supposedly never come back out, but the number of said individuals is few, and the total reasons for moving back to a place you came from are lacking. To be fair, any reasons they would have for venturing inland are overshadowed by their obsessions with each other, so any understanding is beyond impossible. I swear, it's as if the entire dweller populace is more concerned with their enemies than their allies. Over and over they make their raids and their wars, making it a mystery as to why the island doesn't audibly groan under the pressure. Just 5 years ago, the position of the factions were completely switched. While the Order now occupies the northeast and some of the northwest, the Unknowing dot the north and west, and the Guild occupy the south. The situation was inverse just a short while ago. It's almost an achievement that attrition has not taken them all. So many Ferric victories and expeditions into the nothingness that is a bit more land on a tiny rock. Perhaps the other Minotaurs are correct on the basis of pragmatism. Perhaps moving inland would provide the factions with enough space to live comfortably in spite of each other. To hell with it though. As long as they each exist, they will each fight. And as long as the inland is in any way useful, everyone will continue to ignore it completely. We're all so laughably pathetic. You, me, and the rest of them are all static in our own degeneracy and filth. Note 9, 27th of April. A man from the guild came by today. I'll be honest in saying that having sat in this dank excuse for a hovel for months with no other company than my wasted typewriter and the memories of older times, I was more than willing to chat. At least, I was willing until he decided to reveal his occupation. At first, however, he simply seemed like an interesting dweller asking questions about the area. He introduced himself without giving a name, which was reciprocated in a similar fashion, and he began to ask me questions about my relationship with the Order. Sensing something odd, I finally brought the truth out of him. He revealed that he was actually an investigator working for the guild. Evidently, I am suspected of colluding with some Order agent in a covert espionage mission or some other stupidity. After the initial frustrations passed, I began to see the humor in the whole situation, so I laughed him out of my residence. He said he'd be back in a few days with a document that I would be very interested in, and that his questions were not over. I continued to laugh, and with good reason. The dwellers must be worse off than I thought, if this is a level that is even possible to stoop to. Absurd in all senses. Perhaps it is simply my misanthropy speaking, as I've been alone for long enough to lose my social niceties. These niceties, of course, are simply the result of my ability to be patient with people. It's been a problem in the past, and it was certainly a problem with Belle, but my social anxieties and trained silence tend to make the illusion of interest work out in everyone's benefit, even if I don't care or internalize any of the nonsense that anyone is saying. I did manage to pretend with this investigator, and even while laughing at him, I never once told him of his irrelevance. Anyway, he'll be back, he'll bring his document, I'll look over it, laugh, and then we'll all be on our merry way. What a glorious waste of time it will be, as well. Okay, so this is the guild investigator. I remember I found where he lived, and I found the documents. Like, orders from the guild to the investigator. There's a bunch of pictures on, like, a cork board, I think. A bunch of pictures, I think it was a bunch of pictures of soldiers, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly what the notes said, though, other than, obviously, he's supposed to investigate. I know it mentioned Belle. She's the espionage person. And then Solomon is obviously the person that is suspected to be working with her. Beyond that, though, I don't remember anything else. Anyway, let's move on to the exit. Let's try not to look at the horrible bodies. I'm just gonna stare at the floor. The subway access. So this is what was supposed to have been blown up, right? Oh. Oh! It is blown up. This went... yeah, this went over the water. Now leaving the old city. Good luck. That is what was blown up, right? That's why those cars, the train cars, are in the water. Wait, was he... now leaving the old city? So this goes into the old city. So was he trying to stop people from getting... out? Right. They didn't want Belle to deliver the information out, right? That's why they didn't care if you went inside. They just wanted to stop you from getting out.
Escape can take many forms, I see.
What is that? A weird multicolored look when you look at it from an angle. Isn't that, like, oil or gas or something? It's obviously not water. What if that means anything? Now leaving the old city. Good luck! Thanks. Right, so they had a blockade for the subway tunnel.
Oh, they all do the same thing. They all claim a certainty that makes the certainty of others moot. Yes, again and again I know. Truth must be compatible with itself. But is that not illusory? Is truth itself not something that is in essence unattainable? My realism's present, but so are my dreams. And to claim otherwise is a dream all the same. It's as if they have dreamt of a world without dreams. It's as if their world is one in which truth has revealed itself in an anthropomorphic turn, allowing us all to see it clearly and grasp it amidst the darkness. Sad, yes, that we all see a different beacon. Now, all I see is void, and I do not know what's left other than to give up and stagnate in your belly. I may not have their full sense of certainty, but as of now, I cannot present an alternative. Truth must be compatible with itself, but that is irrelevant when truth is outside our reach. Onward with conflict, then, and onward with my labyrinth.
Tarshish. There's another one of those camouflaged rifles with another, like, serial number on it. Hold on, I wrote down the other one a while ago. The other serial number, where are you? Where did I write you down? Oh, here it is. A801. And this one seems to say the same thing, but it's like backwards? There's probably no significance to it. I don't think it means anything. You know, it's funny to think that I've spent so much time on my own that if I actually saw a living, moving, breathing person, it'd probably scare the hell out of me. I think, therefore I see. Actually, maybe this is what they blew up. Maybe what's back there blew up a long time ago. Or maybe it didn't blow up. Maybe it just kind of fell down. And maybe this is what they blew up. Or maybe both. I don't know. No way out, no way in.
One of the larger unknowing camps is nearby. Their lack of organization tends to make it difficult for them to avoid the conflicts between the Guild and the Order. Of course, the unknowing themselves make their own little raids. This results in it being difficult to maintain any sense of pity. Regardless, I'm sure the onslaught was horrendous. People never fight harder than when someone else attempts to uproot their anchor, even if that someone only does so by existing.
Okay, well, before I continue, I think I will end this episode here. So, I hope you've enjoyed so far, and I'll be back soon.